The signal is clear. Okay, the signals are clear. There's something about a clear compass specifically. It's kind of like the direction, the guiding direction is actually quite clear now. It's like someone was sitting at an ocean, watching the ocean, and they were told it's just a stream. And this ocean is literally their emotion. That rhymed. So what they've been watching is like a ship sailing on by constantly across the waters of waves, and it's like they're realizing, or they're going to be realizing, this is a ship that they were meant to be navigating all along. Okay, but definitely something about the signs are becoming much clearer, louder as well. Something about a compass is so important. I don't know why that's really coming through. Compass. Okay. Definitely something about direction. Okay. The chariot direction, the chariot, the movement. The movement. Oh, after a very long time, the Hanged Man. Okay, so there hasn't been movement for a while. Like I said, someone's been sat there at the ocean. King of Cups. King of Cups, that's the king of emotion. That's literally the king that would be, water signs would be at the ocean. But what he's not realised is that this entire time, he's been called to learn how to navigate and handle the ocean and all the different weather streams of the ocean. That's the King of Pentacles. I was trying to flip through there. So maybe they've been so focused on the ground, so they haven't really understood like what it means to manage their emotions. Okay, Ace of Pentacles. Ooh, that's nice. So it feels like it's almost like someone's planted a new seed, but it's within themselves. Right? Oh, the Star. You know, when the Star and the Ace of Pentacles comes out together for me, it's kind of like divine is sending you a gift, a wish into your hands and saying, here you go. And we're letting you now plant this into your life on earth. The wheel. That's really beautiful. Something about someone's health is really important here as well. Their health, okay. Feel really hot as well. The Hierophant, wow. Someone's getting serious. Like they're not they're getting serious about themselves and not just other people's opinions or whatever it is that they were hearing. It's kind of like they're honouring their path, and it's not even about, it's literally their life purpose they're honouring. They really are. And they're understanding that this comes with something about a grieving process, maybe grieving their past self, or maybe they've been in a feeling that kind of grieving energy over some kind of emotional loss, sadness that they hadn't addressed. Okay, but they're addressing it now. They're understanding that they need to. They're no longer, it's like they've been stuck from moving forward for so long, even though they've known, the signs have been clear this entire time, they've known what they've been guided towards, but they've just not moved. It's almost like they haven't seen, I think that they didn't believe it was real, whatever they were being shown. Maybe too good to be true syndrome or something. But I also think that they weren't in their best set, like their best, shape, but like their self. They were coming out of like a really sad time. Eight of Pentacles. This is someone who distracts themselves with work, is what I've heard as well. Okay. But I think that, you know, during the sacred pause of the Hanged Man, they really have been putting in the effort where they've been guided to. Okay, the Emperor. Wow, Knight of Cups at the bottom of the deck. I think this is someone who's they've really wanted to ground something into their like physical reality, and it's something to do with making them feel stable, abundant enough for whatever this forward movement is. And I don't think they felt they were worthy of addressing their emotions, which is quite a sad thing to say, but I think that maybe they were brought up in a place where their emotions were always shut down by their parents, or they weren't made to believe that their emotions were valid, or even like, you know, you need time to accept, acknowledge, process your emotions, but they weren't given that. And so they're under this belief that unless they have a certain something about them, something about their status, their worth or something, then they're not worthy of even their feelings. That's really like sad, because it's not true. They're always worthy of their feelings. In fact, their emotions, whatever's happening inside you is what's going to help create your reality outside of you. So actually, they do need to be addressed. You know, and not from a place of cutting off and wounding and disregarding or making you feel any less than. No. I think this is someone, what they're awakening to, they're understanding that. And this is someone who feels a lot, they feel deeply. So for someone like that to really be cut off from their own emotions or made to feel whatever they were in a way they weren't processing, that's sad. That would have, of hearing festered, and now I'm seeing the Addams family, Uncle Fester. Really specific, this message is just like, wow. That would have just like festered beneath the surface and would have erupted in different ways. Maybe they did fall towards like addictive behaviours, you know, because that was the emotion that was beneath the surface that they weren't healthily addressing because they weren't taught to. Okay, obviously as an adult you take accountability, but when you're not like self-aware to that degree, that depth, I suppose, you know, it's hard. Five of Swords, yeah, grievances, or specifically the lovers there. They've had so much conflict when it comes to a lot of things. Their path in life, they were probably doing things for others more than themselves, you know, maybe to please family or something, parents, but also something about even their relationships. Oh, wow. I've just seen the King of Wands and I instantly heard they're taking back their power. They are ready to claim their own throne and take leadership of their own life. That's big, and it's come with this 9 of Wands. So this is hard work. It's all I've heard. This has not been easy. But this is also what I think that they might be seeking spiritual counsel is what I've heard. That's really specific. So whatever that means to somebody, they're certainly getting some help, the right help as well. You know, not anyone or anything that's pulling them away. There's something about their sacral chakra and their root as well. That's really big. So the Muladhara and Svadhisthana chakras. Okay, they've definitely had some conflict when it comes to connections. I think they've just never felt settled in a connection. Like they've just not found something that makes them feel just, you know that? You know when you find that energy where it's just like, this is everything. Like, this is what I desire. There's nothing missing. It's just, even them and all of their flaws and all their imperfections, whatever they want to call them, it's just still so perfect, right? There has always been some kind of conflict or something underhanded or something just nuts. Grievances, again, is coming through. The Devil, 2 of Wands, yeah. I think they're also acknowledging how they've acted out of their shadows, out of their kind of, their fears, their illusions, that they were stuck in that 3D way of thinking, so many illusions and fears that were truly guiding them. And they couldn't see this path. That, like I said, their ship, they were just sitting there watching the ship on the ocean, but all along that was their ship that they needed to come and navigate. And they didn't see that was a clear open door for them, right? The signs are becoming much clearer as they're truly investing in walking away from these energies that they have been stuck on. Wounded feminine energy here. Okay, so not only were they, I'm hearing emotional manipulation specifically, so not only were they kind of involved in that emotional manipulation or whatever, they might themselves also internally, because they were so guarded to their emotions, they couldn't understand that that's what was happening, and they were allowing themselves to be, I've heard specifically used. So again, that sacral chakra is coming through, so maybe that they did have an addiction, and this is who specifically or what they kept going back to feel that, or somebody knew that, so they were like using that to their own advantage, and this is what they're finally walking away from. They're seeing that clearly. They're seeing how somebody else was really just fulfilling their own void and their own hurts and wounds by coming to them and keeping them stuck on them. That's, to be stuck on someone like that in a really unhealthy way, that's definitely something you need to clear, because somebody cannot have that hold on you. If you want to move forward, especially if you want something more like a, you know, divine connections and, you know, romantic or not, you need to have cleared through that energy. Oh my god, okay, maybe romantic, the lovers. Yeah, somebody wants to, I think somebody does really want to invest in their heart space now. I really do feel that. But they're understanding that being stuck or allowing themselves to constantly be pulled on in that energy, that's not going to sit right with whoever they want to move towards a divine connection. You know what I mean? 7 of Swords, betrayal. 10 of Cups, Ace of Cups, 2 of Cups. Oh my gosh. So it's becoming clearer to them how they have been betraying this cycle of happiness, emotional fulfillment, truly. They haven't been seeing it for what it was. They really hadn't. And I honestly feel like it has this massive impact to do with this wounded feminine energy that's coming through. Someone was so used to, they weren't used to kind of someone who had an open heart, you know, that unconditional love, and they just weren't used to that. And so they kept going back to what they were used to because they thought that was the norm, or how it should be. But actually it was just a really wounded space. God, wow. That's why for so long they couldn't understand why they were still hung up on whatever it is that they're now realising was what they were being guided to move towards all along, the actual emotional fulfillment. God, this is somebody who has had they've had struggles when it comes to 5-5 could be important for somebody when it comes to building their abundance path. They've really had struggles, but I think it's because they've been managing so many different things and investing their energy in unhealthy ways. Again, that health, that's something about that's important. Unhealthy ways, you know. They were distracted from their guiding star. Okay, they truly were. There might be something about addictions, certain substance. That's green. Okay, that's come through specific as well. Wow, 10 of Cups did come out. So when I say that, I'm talking about in an addictive sense specifically. Okay, not just like the substance itself, specifically an addiction. Yeah, the 10 of Cups. They've had a lot of grievances when it comes to their family. They have. The sun. I'm seeing, you know, the sun in the baby in that Teletubbies. That's come very specific. Yeah, they've had a lot of kind of, maybe they've been cut off from family, or they've just had a lot of conflict when it comes to their family. And yeah, this is something they've been focusing on healing. They're finally understanding what their guiding star is and what it's not. They're also finally seeing what they truly want and desire, and it's not normal to have all this conflict and grievances all the time. I mean, in relationships, you're always going to have things to work through, maybe disagreements or whatever it is that you need to find, you know, come together to work on. But the way that it's almost like been normal for them to constantly be in this aggravated state or something. It just feels really draining and exhausting, and it's not supposed to be like that. And I think they're finally understanding that's not normal, you know, it's unhealthy. 3 of Pentacles, much better. That's coming together to do it together. Page of Swords, yeah, they're definitely they're clearing through something. They're either accessing kind of support when it comes to understanding their own mental state, but they're certainly kind of maybe a mentor, someone who they look up to or something, that they're really learning from. They're really learning from this person. And you know what's funny? I feel like they're that person to other people. That's so interesting, isn't it? They are that person to other people. When it comes to themselves, they've carried so much heaviness, and it's like they've not had the person or people to really speak with about that and work through that. And they're finally seeing that, look, 2 of Cups, that's what it is. You get to work through that together. It's not a bad thing. Like when you're in the right healthy connection, it shouldn't turn into this level of just having to hold it all by yourself, you know, and just always being like pushed against a wall kind of energy or something. The Hermit. Yeah, it's been solo, but it's been preparing them for this 2 of Cups and Ace of Cups. I'd love to come through. Yeah, they're clearing that transformation that's taking place when it comes to their betraying their own heart space. It's a big deal right now for somebody, and it has massively to do with finally walking away from that wounded feminine energy. It's constantly kept them stuck. It's kept them stuck. They haven't been moving because of this wounded feminine energy. And again, that's why the within. I always say as within, so without, right? So that's what they've also been allowing themselves to receive from external feminine energies. Yeah, they're definitely getting help, confirmation. They're asking for support from the right people this time, and not like the voices that were telling them their emotion are just not valid, essentially. Maybe not in so many words, but, you know... there's a real awakening taking place. Romantic feelings. Your feelings are real and worth exploring specifically, exactly. That's what this entire reading is kind of telling, this Emperor energy. Like, I don't know why they allow themselves to be so influenced by that external. Maybe they just place a lot of worth, you know, to the people around them, which isn't a bad thing. It's beautiful, but it's about recognizing who and what is worthy of that from you. That comes with you recognizing your worth and learning to trust yourself, your own emotion, quietening the noise. what actually feels right to you, not just looks right to others, right? Very soon, clearly decide what you want so that it can come to you now. Ooh. Somebody wants to explore their emotions, for sure. But I think that's because, I think that they really want to make change. Look at this, give your relationship a chance, work on your partnership. And that's giving that Three of Pentacles energy. So they certainly want to, they really have this desire to do this together. They're understanding the healthiness of that, the healthy attachment. It's like, it's not, everything's not just always perfect. And, you know, I'm hearing prim and proper for some reason. Deception. Yeah. I think they need to also face up to the masks that they've been wearing, you know. Oh my God, forgiving and learning. Absolutely. Yeah, that's what it is. They need to, this is another thing, they need to be honest about something. That comes with being honest with themselves. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moment. New love cycle. But also separation there, so it could be someone who you already know. Coming back. Let's just see. So there is definitely some stuff that yeah, unrequited love. Yeah, it's time for, you know, you've known that unrequited love. That's what's held somebody, they've been held stuck in that as well. Because they thought that that was love. But it was unhealthy attachment, trauma-based, you know. And the more you expand your self-awareness, the more you can step back and try to begin to see that. Stay optimistic. Stay optimistic. Positive thinking and faith will bring you, says specifically romance, but I also think for this person it's a lot about kind of just a lot of emotional fulfillment in many areas, okay? Don't let your pride get in the way. So full moon Leo energies there specifically. Maybe that's what it is, you know. Really, what do you need to release? Pride. Releasing the pride. You know, King of Wands was at the bottom of the deck before, and I think there's something about, yeah, nothing's going to come of this. I think someone's pride has been, I think that they've felt vulnerability in their pride being hurt, but actually that's not true vulnerability. That's truly just your ego being wounded, right? True vulnerability is actually when you do get into your heart space and you learn how to love yourself, you learn how to hold space for your emotion. You know, you don't have to be so cut off and guarded. I do think something about father wounds as well is important here for somebody, okay? Father wounds. Maybe that's who didn't acknowledge their emotions, you know. A fiery climax approaches. That could be to do with where they're moving away from, as well as who and what they're moving towards. Communication is key. Gemini energy, that blue, giving very throat chakra. So learning how to communicate your truth, your feelings, your emotion. But, you know, it doesn't mean you, like, have to love bomb or just, like, tell everyone everything. It's not even that. It's about learning how to, again, healthily expressing your emotion. It can go both ways. You can either be stuck in that throat, or you can really like verbal vomit or whatever, right? So it's about finding that balance within, believing the impossible. Travel could be really important to somebody here, okay, or they are currently traveling, but I also get this energy that they've been walked away from before, and this is like really wounded them. I mean, probably hurt their ego as well with what that was coming through there, but certainly they felt it in that. I'm hearing like a stab in the heart, like dagger in the heart kind of energy. Working through your fears also came through their Scorpio energy. Be bold and make the first move. They are building their confidence right now by understanding themselves. It's not false pride and ego anymore. They're understanding themselves. It's a big difference. You look in the mirror and you see your soul. Very big difference to putting on a mask and going out there. Okay, Three of Swords. Yeah, it's been a slow process. Their healing of their heart, and it is. You know, it doesn't have a time limit. And with it comes the wounds, the scars that you have to honor as you move forward. Yeah, not cut yourself off from everything as you move forward. No, but honor the scars that are there. They do become your vulnerabilities as well. You know, but you learn how to handle them. You learn how to be honest, communicate about them. You know, and the right people will be for you. You'll feel that because you're connected more to yourself. So also prosperity lies ahead came through. So again, if they've been having trouble, this Emperor energy has been having trouble, that could be the masculine energy within you. If you're creating something or wanting to like really build some kind of stability for yourself, there is something about prosperity is moving forwards. But there's going to be a need for you not to let the past hold you back. A Nine of Cups, yeah. there's some kind of wish fulfillment coming on the horizon. I really do see that. I think this is someone who's really becoming the stable version of themselves that they feel they need to be in order to move forward. Because we've got here this a decision that someone hasn't made. They want to communicate something. They want to move in the direction of something they're really missing. I feel it in my heart. Like, it's really sad. They're really missing an energy or something, or maybe it's just a love that they've never had. You know, with that new love cycle. Maybe it's somebody new. I'm not sure, but with the wheel here, it could be someone coming back around. Something coming back around. Okay. And then you've got the Queen of Cups at the bottom of the deck. You know, I think someone's keeping their eye on this, whoever this is, regardless of who it is. They're keeping their eye on this person, and they're recognizing who they need to be. And for them, stability really and truly means having financial stability and security as well, right? Which makes me feel like there's something about divine masculine energy there that's prevalent. But they're also understanding with this forgiving and learning deception. I do feel like this could be somebody who, you know, but they're certainly understanding that they need to remove their masks. They need to be honest. Honesty is going to be really important, which is why they're working through their fears right now. So they really are trying to become who they need to be. And in doing so, they're actually gathering more strength than they realize it, as they're addressing every version of themselves that has gone from the past, you know, especially with that don't let the past hold you back. There's a reason for that. You know, they've been healing through their inner child. They're learning themselves. And I do feel this is someone who's single, okay? But they had attachments that were not healthy, okay? So this situation is already resolved. It's already resolved. Giving your cares, worries and concerns to divine, right? And in doing so, you're honouring, you know, the clear compass, the clear signals that are coming through for you now. You know, because that's divine talking to you, sending you those messages, showing you what needs to, where they're like the sirens that you need to like pay attention to. A beautiful face, the number 3 could be important there. Beautiful face. This could be somebody that they feel has a beautiful, like, their, you know, their eyes on somebody, but also I think that this is someone who might be very attractive, okay, but they're learning themselves. They're learning what their true face is without the masks. They're learning who they are, and they're learning to love themselves for who they are. The sweetest taboo, number 13, okay, 313, sweetest taboo. Yeah, I think this is someone who's very you know, they're easily kind of taken by, you know, when you're someone who really, maybe you've got a sweet tooth, maybe you enjoy a glass of whatever it was, that substance was coming through before, right? You can easily kind of just fall into that and just keep going and going and going and going and know when to stop, right? That's not easy to handle that. So you can either go from completely just cutting yourself off from all of it, which I get, you know, but you can also learn how to handle it and manage it so you don't cut yourself off. But you learn how to channel your energy differently, more wisely, more healthily again. Warrior of love. This is who this person is becoming. Love that. The number 10, number 1 could be important for something. Life path or something. Okay. So they're learning this. They're becoming the warrior of, they're channeling that energy inside them right now. They're going on a beautiful healing journey. They know where their eyes are set. They know where their heart is, their heart desires. Now they're becoming the version of themselves that deserves that, or they believe deserves that. But certainly they're stepping up. They're taking responsibility. That's a big deal. They're taking responsibility for their shadows, finally. They're taking accountability for everything, the hurt, the pain that they caused as well as that they went through. But they actually caused as a result, they cycled it. Taking accountability for that. And that takes a lot. Like, that's going to be a lot of self-forgiveness as well. Okay, so that's a lot of energy, a lot of investment in self, truly. Wow, they're going to have to really forgive themselves for a lot, is what I'm hearing. Also understanding the heartbreak that they caused along the way, as well as having room for their own emotion and truly feeling that this time, okay? Situation was already resolved. So whatever this is moving towards, that's done. Like, that's a done deal. I feel like there's something destined about that. But that's not something to take advantage of. That's still you working on yourself with the signs that you're receiving to do that, right? So have faith, basically. That's what this feels like. Hold faith. Because sooner than you realise, you're going to be given the opportunity for that forgiveness. I just wanted to do a last shuffle, and we literally have the Empress, the 5 of Wands, 7 of Swords and the Moon. This is definitely somebody who has betrayed someone in some way, shape, or it's felt like betrayal. 4 of Wands at the bottom of the deck, though. There's something about alignment here that something could really, and again, the Queen of Cups, something could really come into alignment here, but someone's going to have to be so honest. They're going to have to declare their truth in terms of their feelings, the masks they've been wearing, the 7 of Swords, and that moon. Like, they're seeing things beneath the surface more clearly than they ever have before. So that clear signal is also what's happening inside of them, okay? Now their concern, their fear is that they're going to be seen for that too. That's their pride. That's their pride that's going to get in the way if they're not careful. So they need to work through that. Why are they so scared? Why is they fearing that so much, right? Okay, but they know where they want to move. They're healing through this right now, okay? This is their journey to do, but this beautiful Four of Wands, this is something that could be turned into something really beautiful. I mean, prosperity lies ahead, remember? So they've just got to learn how to have faith in their heart space that's guiding them, you know, and also the heart space of who they want to move towards, because clearly the Queen of Cups keeps wanting to come through. So it seems like someone who actually would hold space emotionally, okay? That's what's coming through. But this specific reading has just been about this energy healing through now. They're really learning to honour themselves and their heart space, okay, which is beautiful. There's also something here maybe about jealousy, or just something here specifically that because they haven't seen their worth for so long, they've kind of held back. And this again has just perpetuated this way of like acting and being in the shadows and stuff. That's really like, they see this person they want to meet towards, this Empress, and they're like, whoa, like it blows them away sometimes. It really does. Really does. And that's just when they kind of think, oh my god, am I enough? Do I have enough? Am I worthy? Blah blah blah. But actually that's just their own mind, that whatever's happening in the background, they're creating that, whatever they see as worthy is what they've created in the back of their mind, which actually isn't like necessarily the reality of the situation, because it's actually what's happening within you, how are you showing up. You know, I've heard specifically integrity there as well, which is really important. So that self-discipline, you know, that's very divine masculine energy as well, okay? It's really showing up. Yeah, the Hierophant there is like, you know, this is someone who has got it within them, and they're being guided as well in this direction. So it's about working together as well sometimes, okay? So they are gathering the courage right now, the confidence to truly make this offer. There's going to be an opportunity moving forwards to make the effort on this, but it comes with them learning their self-respect first and foremost, okay? I feel like yesterday was really divine feminine going through her like healing journey. This is divine masculine now going through his. This playfulness energy is like they want to bring back this youthful shine spirit, right, to this connection. They want to make the effort here. They see that this is what is bringing that out in them as well. And you do this for each other. So, you know, right about now they're working on freeing themselves from so much, truly. And they're actually investing in that, which is the big deal, okay? Let me know if this message is for you. Sending love.